So what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is LittleMarMan, and today we have 5 things that you need to know about the Der Eisendrache story pre-Der Eisendrache. Before it even comes out, we are going to be going over pretty much 5 little details that you definitely need to take into account when trying to understand the story for Der Eisendrache, and of course when you are actually Easter egg hunting, a few tips for that as well. What to look out for, what have the patterns been in the past, and what have they sort of, all the Easter eggs that relate to Der Eisendrache's possible Easter eggs. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing. And just before we do hop on into it, I would really appreciate if you could do me a big favor and smash that like button. It really does help me out. And without further ado, let's get into it. So coming in at number one, basically the map order pre Der Eisendrache. Der Eisendrache obviously being at the bottom of 5. And number 1 would be Mob of the Dead, and I'll explain it in just a second. Number 1, Mob of the Dead. 2, Origins. 3, Shadows of Evil. 4, the Giant, and then obviously 5 being Der Eisendrache. And basically the map order for this timeline, well, these multiple timelines, is basically the way to keep track of it is which Richthofen traveled to first, and then which Richthofen was in then second. Obviously he was in Mob of the Dead because he has blood vials and Origins belonging to the Mob of the Dead character, so Mob of the Dead must have came before Origins. And then after Origins, we know sort of our character sort of teleported, and then Richthofen then went on to study different timelines and sort of master teleportation between all of those. And then of course we have the map of Shadows of Evil, which he intercepts and takes the summoning key, and then he comes on into the Giant, which is obviously number 4, and then Der Eisendrache is taking place directly where the Giant left off. That is the map description for Der Eisendrache, so Der Eisendrache comes in at number 5. So that is the map order, and that is definitely something to take into account when trying to understand the story for this new DLC. Number 2 would probably be the fact that we have the Shadowman. Well, Richthofen has the Shadowman. Obviously, in the Shadows of Evil ending cutscene, Richthofen comes in and swipes the summoning key and then leaves through a portal, and then he obviously goes onto the Giant because he has that same summoning key that he just swiped in the map of the Giant. And then after the Giant, he heads to Der Eisendrache. And let's rewind all the way back to Shadows of Evil. Why is the Shadowman in the summoning key? Well, we put him there. When you complete the Shadows of Evil Easter egg, the second last step is actually sort of killing the Shadowman, but you don't actually kill him, you just trap him in the summoning key, the same summoning key that Richthofen then goes on to swipe and then travels all the way to Der Eisendrache with. So the summoning key has the Shadowman in it, and the summoning key is now on Der Eisendrache with our 4 characters. So essentially what I'm saying here is the Shadowman could definitely make an appearance in some way, shape or form on the map of Der Eisendrache. Whether or not we are going to actually resummon him, or maybe even use the connection he has to the Overlords to maybe bring them into this dimension to end it all, or maybe even it is the summoning key isn't really relevant for Der Eisendrache and it is more relevant for like a future DLC or something like that. But like either way, it is probable that the Shadowman is going to make an appearance in, of course, Der Eisendrache. Coming in at number 3, a pretty straightforward fact that a lot of people probably already picked up on, but just in case you didn't play the map Origins or even the map of the Giant, basically in the map of Origins, when we had our 4 original characters, the young versions of them that we play as now in Black Ops 3, basically they were completely different to what we already knew them as. Like, Richthofen wasn't as evil, Dempsey wasn't as angry, Nikolai wasn't as drunk, and Takeo wasn't as crazy and like prophetic as he would be in sort of World at War and Black Ops 1. So basically our characters are completely different then. When it comes to Origins, they're a lot more calmer, and of course when it comes to Black Ops 3, when they are all in the Giant together, they are a bit more themselves. Like, Dempsey is that bit more angry than he was in Origins, Richthofen is that bit more schizophrenic, Takeo is more prophetic and crazy, and of course Nikolai is starting to be a bit more depressed, which is why he actually started drinking and being an alcoholic then in the first place. Which leads us to believe that the pattern is only going to continue. Obviously Richthofen is going to get that bit more evil, that bit more mindless, and the characters then themselves are going to get more angry, more drunk and more prophetic, and of course the same pattern, they're going to return to their previous selves, which is definitely funny, and of course it is one of the many effects of element 115. Next up at number 4 is the castle, the setting of Der Eisendrache, obviously inspired by many castles in Austria, but the title given to the actual castle in which it is set is of course Griffin Castle, and that is only one of the many moon references. Obviously the moon station up on the moon is actually Griffin Station, and that's sort of where Griffin Castle comes from. There's also a few references about the map moon in the trailer, and of course we have the whole rocket thing, firing rockets up into the air. We presume we're firing them at the moon, and obviously on moon we actually fired rockets down on Earth, which actually led to the apocalypse in Black Ops 2. But nonetheless, this map is definitely connected to the map of moon, which leads us into point number 5, connecting way back to our Black Ops 1 timeline. Obviously our original characters, when they were sort of older, actually travelled and ended up on the moon to complete Richthofen's grand scheme to gain ultimate power, but in the process, when you complete the Easter egg, we fired missiles down towards Earth, creating the apocalypse on Earth that we play in Black Ops 2, when we play sort of with Stuhlinger, with Marlton, and of course the transit crew, and then we journey on to Buried with them. But still, our characters are up on the moon. Nothing else has been said about them being up there, and since there's a lot of moon connections on, of course, Der Eisendrache, in Der Eisendrache, this leads us to believe maybe even our younger characters can actually communicate with their older selves, and there will be a bit of a link between them. Obviously the years differ a bit, but the whole belief that time actually travels differently in different dimensions and different universes ties in with all of this. Maybe they were teleporting some way when they tried to escape from the moon and managed to actually teleport themselves into this dimension that we're playing in, but then again that goes against the whole thing of actually Richthofen killing themselves and sort of ending that timeline, so it doesn't really tie in. But there have been leaks from one dimension into the other. Obviously the Mob of the Dead playing in both the map of the Giant and Shadows of Evil flying above, there have been a few leaks from different dimensions and interdimensional convergences and different things like that. But basically that is pretty much it. This has been 5 things that you need to know about the Der Eisendrache story before it even comes out. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you liked the way I did this video, do smash the like button and let me know, as well as actually subscribing for more content like this one, of course, if you did enjoy. But that is pretty much it. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you learned something. Once again, peace out, thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you all later.